Amen. We are in the making.
Yes, yes.
And in order to be completely made, in order to be that beautiful vase, we've got to stay on the wheel.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
You might ask, who is the potter? The potter is God. And who is the clay? You and I.
Yes.
Before any beautiful vase or piece of art is created, it first becomes a vision, a design, or a picture in the mind of the potter. Before we were created, we were in the mind of God. Amen?
Amen.
He knew what he was going to make before he made it.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen. Let's look, as we look at the process that a potter takes when he is making a piece of pottery. I don't know how many of you have ever taken a pottery class. Amen, but I have. And it's not as easy as it looks. When you see a picture of someone, it could be a man or a lady sitting at this wheel. You have a big wheel and a little wheel, and you have a pedal sort of like a bicycle. And you have to pedal to keep the round plate moving around as you shape the vessel in your hands. And until you actually do it, you won't realize how difficult it is. Because if you pedal too fast, then it goes out of shape. If you pedal too slow, it's out of shape. If the clay itself is too wet, it falls apart. If it's too dry, it falls apart. So everything has to be in sync in order for you to end up with an article that you can be proud of.
Right.
And in the process of making a vessel or making a vase or whatever, it first of all has to be cleaned up. Because now today we don't do pottery, all the pottery like this, because pottery is too much in demand, so they have machines and things that do it. But if it was made by hand, you would have a lump of clay that you would put on the wheel and you would begin to spin and shape it into the object that you wanted it to become, which means that you had to have a picture in your mind of what you were making. Otherwise, you could end up with anything and say, oh, this is what I intended. But as it goes on the wheel and you shape it, and then you have to make it just so, and then it has to go into what is called a kiln, which is like a little oven. And it's heated much hotter than our ovens in our homes. And the object is baked and baked for a specified period of time until it's finished. And then when it comes out, it's hard, but it's still ugly. Yeah. So then if we're going to use this vessel or this object for something like to drink or put water in, then it has to be fired again. But if we just want to paint it and sit it somewhere without really using it, then we can just paint it and let the paint dry. But if we wanted to make a vase that one day we would put flowers in, we have to paint it. And then after we paint it, we put it back in the kiln to be fired again. And then when it comes out, it's a beautiful object. Now also the paint that we put on the pottery, sometimes when we paint it, it's still ugly. It's not until it's fired do the true colors come out. Okay? So if you're going to make something that is different colors, I've made something where the color was one thing, then it had little spots and things in it of another color. But when I put it on, it looked just like mud with stones in it. But it had to be baked, and when it was baked, the true color came out, and the little stones, I guess for the color pebbles or whatever, they melted and blended, so when it was fired the second time, it came out as the beautiful vessel. Now, even though today we don't do all of this by hand, we have machines and what have you, but it still goes through the same process. So if you want something beautiful, it has to be processed. If we want our lives to be beautiful and represent what God would have us to be, we have to be processed. Amen.